Hello, and welcome to an episode of Drinking the Kool-Aid. This is a comedy podcast dedicated to the mysterious. My name is Longlegs.
My name is Art the Clown.
Art the Clown doesn't talk.
I know, but I have to talk.
I know, you could just do this, though. Silent laughter.
Okay, so I'm not going to talk the whole episode.
We need her as quiet as we can get her.
Okay.
So quiet. I'm just kidding. But yeah, that's what he does. He goes, he like laughs with his hands up, and then he points at all the gross, bloody stuff he does.
If he could talk, how do you think he would sound?
Hey, boys and girls, it's Art the Clown.
It's Art the Clown.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Amanda's never seen the movies.
I won't see it. I mean, I will. No, I don't do gore, guys. You know I don't do gore. But Cassidy just informed me that it's like on the same vein or a little less than Saw. And I've seen the Saw movie, so maybe I can do it.
No, it's not less than. To me, it seems like when I'm... Okay, so I haven't seen the new one, obviously, so I can't speak to that. But I've seen All Hallows Eve. I've seen Terrifier 1 and Terrifier 2. I actually just rewatched Terrifier 1 and 2 like a couple days ago. And to me, it's cheesy gore.
Yeah, then I can probably do it.
Like the Saw movies look more real based on like actual gross stuff I've seen in like real life.
On a scale of 1 to Evil Dead.
I'm
Scream to Evil Dead.
That's impossible.
Oh.
It's just so different. That's what I'm trying to say. Is like the way that they do the blood is so over the top and like so like they have, you know, like it's just so gross and over the top that you're just like,
Yeah.
It was no Golden Glove. Like to me, like the only movie that I've ever seen that I was like, that is unwatchable a second time is The Golden Glove.
Right, and I won't see that one either.
No, and I would tell you not to. It is vile. Like that movie made me gag multiple times.
Gross.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's just people who don't normally watch like actual horror movies, or I don't know what the whole. I mean, the movie, it's gross. He does gross stuff, but it's like, okay.
You know what? I'll give it a shot and I'll see if I can make it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go. I mean, and like it's creative, gross stuff. Like in the first movie, he like cuts someone in half, like via their
He just looks
crotch.
like such a
like he rips them in half, you know, kind of.
Yeah. He just like looks like such a fun-loving guy.
He's just out there having he's in a silly, goofy mood. And I think everyone should just leave him alone.
Literally a silly little guy.
He's the definition of a silly little guy.
Yeah, so
yeah. And he's in a silly, goofy little mood.
I just like him.
And he needs to rip some people into two.
I just think he's cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe you shouldn't see the movie. I don't know. I'm having second thoughts because I don't want to get the text message of why the fuck did you tell me it was okay for me to watch this?
Oh, you're going to.
I want to, you know,
I
rip
love
my eyeballs out.
To blame you for everything. So like that would be ideal for me.
That would be ideal for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be a real showstopper for Amanda.
Okay. Nicolas Cage.
Yes, that's me.
That's
I'm long
you.
leg.
You
My
look
legs are long.
Just like Nicolas Cage.
I'm literally, if long legs had the shortest legs you could ever imagine.
Yeah, you're short legs.
Yeah.
You're Cassidy's short legs.
I'm mommy short legs.
Mommy short legs. Can you do the face for me? There you go.
Cuckoo, cuckoo. Or this one, where he just kind of slack jaws it.
Oh yeah, and then he just kind of like drools a little bit.
Let me in now, and it can be nice. You know what I mean? Yeah. If you aren't watching on the YouTube, you shouldn't. It's scary in here.
Yeah, actually, like we've been like a little goofy and cute lately, and now we're definitely we turned it up to the scary notch.
Yeah.
So
we're ready to roll.
We're ready to rock and roll. Okay, party people.
As Halloween gets closer. Oh, speaking of scary movies.
Yes.
I went and saw my friend's brother's movie. He was the writer, one of the writers and the director of it. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know this. He had previously worked on the movie Thanksgiving.
Oh my God, that was a huge movie.
Yeah, he was on the production team for that. And so I'm assuming that's how he got, you know, in the world that he's in.
Hell yeah.
He's been working in the industry forever. But he wrote and directed this movie called Carved. It is so good. It's on Hulu.
Yes, it's currently on Hulu. I literally just saw the big sign for it when I went on today.
Yeah, so I got to go to the world premiere of it last week, and it is so fun. It is so, like, there's some really good scares. There's some quality kills.
Quality kills.
Quality kills. Most of the effects are practical effects, which I'm big on.
Literally same. Like nothing compares to it.
And there are some actors in this movie where I'm like, oh, they're gonna make it.
Okay.
Like I've never seen. There's also some actors where you're like, oh, that guy is in everything. Like you're gonna recognize them right away. But the kid actors, because a lot of the actors are like teenagers, and there's one kid, so good. The acting is so good. The casting was just incredible. It was really funny. It was really fun. It was just, it was a great movie. 10 out of 10 recommend.
I can't wait to watch it.
Yeah. I had such a great time. I was laughing. I was gasping. And,
Sounds like a great movie.
Yeah. And, sometimes you're like, you go to these things and you're like, God, I hope I like it. You know what I mean? 'Cause
Yes.
it's like my friend's brother.
Yeah.
You know?
And you never know what can
Sorry,
happen.
let me look up his name. Once again, I don't know him. I just know his sister.
Liz, who we love.
No, my friend Michelle.
Oh, okay.
But I know Michelle through Liz.
Oh, got it.
So I
got
went
it.
up with Liz and Kyle, her husband. All right. His name is Justin Harding. Yeah.
That sounds like a familiar name.
So cool. He's, like I said, he's worked in the industry forever. You're going to see a lot of familiar faces in this cast, but also a lot of fresh faces that I think are like people who are going to, like, they're going to be
The next big thing.
Our Scream Queens, our Kyle Gallners of the future.
I love this.
Yeah.
I'm very excited.
So go check it out. It's on Hulu.
Yeah.
It's their last Huluween movie.
Yeah. Comment on whatever platform you're listening or watching on.
Yeah.
And let us know.
Let us know how you like it. And if you
Yeah.
watch it, give us a tag in your story and we'll repost it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that was just so crazy fun.
I love that.
I do think there's no city I hate more in the world than Hollywood.
Yeah, it's a rough one.
It's the vibe up there is so rancid.
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
just the second we drove into, I was like, oh God, it took us like 40 minutes to go 5 miles. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Everybody there is just, will bump into you. Nobody moves. Nobody says, excuse me. Parking situation is god awful.
The parking is so bad. I went up to Los Angeles on Saturday night for Creep LA, which is one of my favorite like haunted things I do every year.
You do it every year, yeah.
And me and my husband were looking for this like burger place that we found on the maps because we were like, oh, let's go get a burger before we go. People were parking in the suicide lane.
Oh,
like because there was no parking to get to the restaurant.
Well, that was the thing. We went to this movie premiere. We went right after my friends Liz and Kyle, right after they got off work. So we literally got in the car at like 5 p.m. We didn't get there until almost 7.
Yeah.
We had no chance to get food or anything. All they had was popcorn and hot dogs at the movie theater, which, like, of course, I did eat a bunch of popcorn. But when we were leaving, Liz was like, I am so starved. Like, we need to go somewhere right now. And she was like, oh, like this place is close and whatever. I'm like, okay, but it's 10 p.m. on a Tuesday.
Yeah.
You're never going to be able to park. Like, unless we go somewhere with a parking lot, and then it's going to take us 30 minutes to get the food and like whatever. And then all of a sudden we're getting home at midnight. Like,
You might as well just drive through somewhere.
yeah. So that's what we were talking about. And then we're like, fuck it, let's just go home. Cause like she had to work the next morning, you know, like
Yeah.
it was just a whole rigmarole that I
Rigmarole.
couldn't get behind.
Yeah. LA, Hollywood area is. That's why we live in Long Beach.
I was gonna say I've had multiple opportunities to move up to LA, various parts, and I will always take the commute over living there. Like I love Long Beach is so chill. You get all the benefits of LA, but you don't have to deal with the traffic or like the people.
Yeah, no, I love Long Beach.
Yeah.
I mean,
No
we talk
offense
about it all
to
the
LA.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, no offense, but
No offense, but full offense. At least you're not Orange County. You know what I mean?
how many more people can we offend in California?
Guys, I feel like if you've made it this far with us, you know to take literally not a thing that comes out of my mouth seriously.
Yeah, and
except
if-
for when I say I hate Hollywood, because I do mean that. I'm
And
just
if you're new here, yeah, what she said.
what she said. If you can't take a little haterade, I'm sorry. I don't know. You're not someone I could probably ever speak to.
Yeah, no, this is what we do here at Drinking the Kool-Aid Incorporated.
What's my number one besides people chewing with their mouth open? Like what will make me mad at you faster than anything else?
If you can't take a joke?
If you get people who get overly defensive.
Yeah, overly defensive.
I can't stand that, especially when it's like kind of a silly observation, like, "Oh, you always do this," and if you're like, "Well, actually,
Which is so funny because literally her two best friends are queens of that. me and Kate.
Yeah. And what do I say? Every single time it happens, I go, you're being defensive and it's making you annoying. And I think you both have gotten better. I don't know why that is like such a trait. And Kate always explains to me, she's like, yeah, normal people, Cassidy, that is their reaction to feeling like they were called out.
Yes.
And I'm like, I guess I just don't, like, that's not how my brain works. So it like annoys me, especially if I'm like not even talking about the person. I'm talking about some other thing.
Yeah.
But they get defensive because they're like, this could apply to me one
Right.
day, or maybe it did once. And I'm like, we're not even talking, this isn't even about you.
Yeah, I love
what
to
I mean?
get defensive and offended. It's my favorite thing.
Don't worry. So many other people are so much worse than you.
That's true. I'm really not that bad.
No, especially not anymore.
Yeah.
You grew out of that.
Yeah.
Because I think the reason it annoys me is because it like stems from insecurity. And I'm like, I just don't have time for that.
Right.
Like, I really can't get down with that. I get it. I understand where you're coming from. It's annoying though. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
Yeah. Yeah. I get it because I am the opposite and I'm sure it's really annoying.
Yeah, that's annoying.
Yeah. So I mean, like everything.
Well, anything is annoying that is something the opposite of what you do.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know?
Because you're like, I don't get it.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. No, totally. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of
Annoying.
No, I'm just kidding. Speaking of things that like recommendations, if you guys are looking for stuff, I haven't recommended a podcast in a long time.
Ooh.
I'm listening to this new podcast. It's called Kill List.
Okay.
It is
Talk to
so freaking good.
What's it about?
So it's about this journalist who's friends with this hacker. The hacker finds this website on the dark web. This is all true, by the way. It's an investigative journalist podcast.
Oh.
Hacker finds this website where you can pay to have somebody killed.
Okay.
Turns out the website is a scam. Like, it's just scammers trying to get people to give them Bitcoin. They're not actually going to kill anyone. But people who are willing to pay 30 grand to kill someone are going to find a different way to kill someone. So, like, the show starts with him getting this list and they try to contact the police. And the police, of course, aren't interested. They're like, oh, we'll put it up the chain. But then this woman is murdered by her husband. And he had paid to try and get her killed previously.
Okay.
So he's like, okay, clearly these people are serious. Mm-hmm. So he starts reaching out to people that are on this kill list, and they all think he's like a scam caller.
Okay.
But he's just trying to keep them from getting killed.
But they don't believe him.
They don't believe him.
You're scamming me.
And this is like the middle of lockdown 2020 COVID. And
To
he's
be
trying to call
fair,
these people.
I would probably feel the same way.
Well, it's so funny. So at first I was like, oh my gosh, if somebody called me and told me I'm on a kill list, like I'd freak out. And then I was like, no, I would assume it was a fake call. Absolutely. And then I like the more like he's talking to these people and they're like, okay, like whatever.
They're like, shut up.
Yeah, they're like, I'm gonna be
loser.
fine. And he's like, no, somebody put a hit out on you on the internet and like paid like 25 grand to do it. And they're like, sure. Okay, buddy.
And did they die?
I'm only like 3 episodes in. I think there's only 4 episodes out and it's releasing weekly. But go listen to it. It's really good.
Wow.
Called Kill List. It's like, I cannot put it down.
Well, now I'm going to listen to that.
Yeah, you should. It's good. Yeah. Speaking of being a hater, have you seen that trend on TikTok where people are like, why does she know who I am? And why does she give a damn about me? That they like sing that. And then they're like, they talk about like, why did I go to follow Ariana Madix from whatever? And why am I blocked? Like, I don't know who she is. I've never interacted with her. Right.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a trend on TikTok where like, why I am blocked by so many famous people, you guys.
For what?
I think I'm on just like a couple block lists.
Like
so I was like, are these people like actually shocked? And then I'm like, yeah, they are. They're like, they can't believe that like I am. You guys are clearly not real haters because I'm blocked by so many people.
Can you drop some names?
Most of them are political pundits. I will say.
Okay. Honestly, that checks out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just am like, oh yeah, of course. Like it's not uncommon that I'll go to somebody's page and I'm blocked already.
I did watch this one TikTok recently where the girl was like, I went to this person's account that I like love.
Yeah.
And they blocked me.
Yeah, that's what I say. That's what I mean though. Like,
Yeah.
of course they did.
Yeah, but why would you block someone that, like, if you're not being a hater, if they love you?
Because you probably just posted something that pissed them off. You guys aren't just like blocking people left and right.
I've never blocked somebody from TikTok ever. I don't even know how to do that.
There have been multiple times I blocked someone just because they popped up on my For You page and I was like, I hate your face. I'm so sorry. This is not your fault, but I'm trying to protect my peace here.
I'm blocked from a lot of Instagram accounts from people I know.
Yeah. But you are also a lurker.
I am a lurker.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure I'm blocked by so many people that I don't even realize because I'm not a lurker, so I never look.
Oh yeah, I always know because I'm like, what the fuck? Why can't I search this person?
But no, especially on TikTok because it's like the For You page is what you use it for, right?
Yeah.
So if I see somebody once who just like their face pisses me off, I'm like block.
Damn.
Yeah, absolutely.
So if you're blocked from Cassidy Liston on TikTok, just know she hates your face.
I might just hate your face. I might really just, I don't know, the way you talk, your cadence.
Wow.
Maybe I just think your content's annoying.
Wow.
Maybe it just pissed me off. I got a little jealous because I'm like, why do people watch this person's shit?
It really could
Block.
be anything is what you're saying.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, I really utilize that block button.
You know what? Good for you.
I'm not afraid of the block button, and I think more people shouldn't be, because who cares? It doesn't make that big of a difference. I don't think, like, unless it's like a good friend of mine who blocks me, like, I don't. If somebody has me blocked, I mostly just think it's funny.
I had friends block me.
Yeah, I mean,
And I was like, oh damn, that's rough.
I've had people block me that I knew in real life. The only ones I've ever cared about, though, like, they let me know before they blocked me, and they were just wrong.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
That's
so
fair.
I was like, oh, okay, see you later. Don't let the door hit you on the way out, brother.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Brother, stupid ass.
But yeah, like, I block people when people are like, I just can't block him. I literally, if a man even like looks at me funny, blocked.
No, that's fair.
You like a picture of mine that I don't think you should be liking because you have a wife, or blocked.
Good. I support you.
Yeah, I don't know. I just you know, I'm out here protecting your peace.
You gotta.
I really think New Year's resolution this year for like a lot of people should be to block more people.
Yeah. Block more, protect peace.
Block, report. Sure, why not?
Report.
Sometimes, yeah, I'll just report something because it annoys me. You don't do that?
Never in my life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow, I am not on the hater level that you are, and I'm deeply saddened actually by this.
Because it's so freeing, because it's like really not hurting anybody. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
no one's gonna get hurt by this. It doesn't
Yeah.
really matter. Nothing
Maybe-
on there really matters
But
that much.
maybe I can't bring myself to like block people because I'm like, what if I want to lurk on them?
Oh, see, once again, I'm not a lurker.
I will type in the like someone that I haven't seen in 20 years names just to see what they're up to.
Oh no, but I mean, why would you block that person?
I don't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't block them.
Even people I hate.
I block strangers more often than people I know, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, so often Kate will send me a TikTok and be like, oh my God, this girl is so annoying. And I'll open it and I'm like, oh, I already have them blocked.
Yeah, you're like, oh, I actually can't see that TikTok.
Oh yeah, when there was like that big thing where it was like block celebrities 2020, I'm like, I have 90% of celebrities blocked, especially if they like get pushed in my algorithm. Like the Kardashians, they've all been blocked for years.
Wild.
Beyonce, blocked. Love
Don't,
Beyonce.
you can't do that.
Love Beyonce. Love her music. I just don't.
Thank her right now.
Sorry, thank you, Beyonce. I'll unblock you, I promise.
Oh my God, I can't even believe you would do that.
But I just block celebrities if they get pushed into my feed. I don't care about celebrities. I don't want to see that.
It couldn't be me.
Same with influencers. If you have that influencer voice that I hate, blocked.
See, I don't really know. Like, I feel like I don't know that many influencers. Every time I hear people talking about influencers, I'm like, who is that?
When everybody was blocking that Haley Bally girl or whatever, do you remember that?
yes.
She's the one who did the Let Them Eat Cake video,
Yep.
and everyone was like, bad timing for this.
Yeah.
I had already had her blocked.
Of course you did. Yeah, that makes sense.
Everyone was like, oh my God, do you see this video? I'm like, no. And they send it to me. I'm like, can't open it. Blocked. And they're like, why'd you block her? Couldn't even tell you.
Because she's annoying.
Yeah, I probably saw one video of her being a rich person, a rich, pretty person, and was
Yeah.
like, I don't need to see this. I'm protecting my peace. Block.
No, I actually really, really respect that.
Yeah, that's what I mean when I say like I block celebrities. I'm like, I don't need to see like hot pictures of you.
And you're rich.
And you're
like,
rich
doing
and you're
whatever you
cooler
wanna
than me. It's not because I
do.
hate you or have anything against you, but like I will block you because I don't need that. I get on the internet for funny jokes and
Yes.
pictures of dogs.
Yes, yes.
I don't need to see rich people who make me feel bad about myself.
No. This is good.
I'm telling you, you got to get on it. It's really fun.
I might start trying. Like
Yeah.
trying, like attempting to try.
Yeah, just anytime you see anything that pisses you off or you don't like, just click that page and block it, and you realize, oh, you never think about it again.
All right. Maybe I can.
But I don't know if I'm a bad or a good influence right now.
No, you're a great influence. Daddy long legs.
Daddy short leg.
You're my daddy.
Thanks, Art.
See, this is the problem. Every time I want to do something that he does, I can't talk.
It's quiet, yeah.
So no one can hear me.
Yeah, he just open mouth, really big laugh. That's what Amanda's doing. I can narrate it.
I'm just going to pretend like he has a voice.
Obviously, you guys are smart and you know I'm joking, but if you block me, that's okay. But
Well, you can't block her without blocking me. So
see, I have like Amanda's like my cover. You know,
just keep that in mind, everybody.
Yeah, I'm like, really? If you want to get rid of me, you also got to lose her.
Yeah, because you can't just listen to one half of the podcast.
Yeah, it's like why Brianna Chicken Fry keeps that Grace girl around.
Makes so much sense.
Yeah, because Grace is like super charming and interesting, and Brianna's kind of mean. But it's
Yeah.
like, they only do the podcast together.
So what are you going to do?
So what are you gonna do? Lose Grace? You can't do that.
Well, she can go off on her own, I guess. Sort of.
I've been all over that drama this week.
Oh, I've seen it all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had no idea who Brianna Chicken Fry was until like 4 days ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I've known about her for
I
quite
thought her,
a while.
I thought her and that Brooke Schofield.
You thought they were the same
I thought
person?
that was the same person. Can you blame me? Look at them.
I can blame
That
you.
looks like the same girl.
One is brunette and one is a redhead.
Who's redhead?
Brooke Schofield.
Brooke Schofield's a redhead? No way.
Is she not?
I don't think you know who you're talking about.
I know who I'm talking about. The canceled podcast. That's
She's
Brooke.
brunette, dude.
Oh, I guess she is
She
brunette.
looks just, and there is Brianna Chicken Fry right there. They look the same. I thought that was the same person.
Okay.
See, you were wrong too.
I'm gonna give you this one.
Who did you think was the redhead?
I thought Brooke Schofield had red hair.
No, they look the same.
Okay, I'm gonna give you this one. I'm gonna give you this one.
Thank you.
One time, Daddy. Okay.
The daddy special.
That is it. They
Yeah.
do look very similar.
Yeah, they look so similar.
Okay. Wow. Who would have thunk?
But yeah, I thought they were the same person until this week because now Brianna Chicken Fry is getting canceled.
For what she said about the Menendez brothers, which was very gross.
Yes. I need to say this, and I've tweeted it before, and I'll say it again. If
Say
you
it.
don't rock with Gypsy Rose and you don't rock with the Menendez brothers, like, I don't fuck with you at all.
Bro. I mean, I said this to you in a text recently where I was like, anytime I see Gypsy Rose Blanchard in an interview or a podcast or anything, I am all up in that shit. I want to hear everything she has to say. I love her so much. I don't give a shit.
Don't even do that. I just think that she was a victim of abuse and she got out of an abusive situation in the only way she knew how. And
Yes.
people are fucking crazy. And like, she's a murderer. She should be in jail. Like, shut up.
No, shut up. Shut up.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Same with if you don't support the Menendez brothers, they shouldn't have killed him. Should have done something else. Shut up.
Shut up.
I don't care. I don't care.
No,
don't
I
wanna hear
agree.
about it.
Hard agree. No, like that is, it's not even, I don't even feel like it's like controversial. Like what?
Yeah.
Anything else you gotta say? Long legs?
Australia, I'm really sorry. I don't know why. But I didn't know that you guys didn't like us until the Olympics is really what set people off. And they're like, yeah, you guys didn't know that Australia doesn't rock with you guys like that.
I feel like I've never heard this before. Like I thought Australians
I
were
thought
just like
so, too.
nice, happy people.
I thought Australia and America that we were like kind of vibing.
I think whoever said that is just a hater. Like whatever.
Gotta respect it.
They took a page out of Daddy Shortleg's book.
Yeah.
And you know, they said the one Australian person that hates Americans said all Australians hate us.
Well, there was like some beef during the Olympics. Like Australia was like, we gotta beat America.
Well, yeah, I mean it's the Olympics.
Yeah. And so then I was like, yeah, that's fine, obviously.
It's like when people beef in a football game or whatever, right?
you gotta beef in a
You
football
got
game.
if you're not beefing, are you really doing it right?
If you're not beefing, I don't even believe your head's not in the game.
That's what I'm saying.
You gotta get your head in the
game.
Speaking of people who have their heads in the game,
Oh, yes. Who?
would you like to welcome some new patrons?
Let's freaking go.
So I would like to say welcome to Heather.
Hello, Heather.
Welcome to Sierra B.
Hello, Sierra B.
Welcome to Anna Y.
Hello, Anna. Why?
I hope you guys are enjoying that new series that we're doing about the McMillions.
Oh, yes.
We also have a shot of Kool-Aid coming out in the next week or so before the end of the month. And we also have a bonus episode coming out soon,
Oh, yes, we do.
which will be a full episode, banter and stories included, and will be available exclusively to our patrons.
That is right.
So make sure you go and check out our Patreon at patreon.com/drinkingthekool-aid or at dtkpod.com/support. The link will also be in the description of this episode. You can also find our YouTube there if you're missing out on all of our Halloween costume fun that's happening here. I look insane.
Yes.
I keep catching glimpses of there's a mirror right behind where we record, and I keep just like catching glimpses of myself, and it's upsetting.
If you guys don't know who Longlegs is, just look up a photo.
Do a little quick goog.
Do a goog of Nicolas Cage as Longlegs. Guggenheim. Because somehow, some way, Cassidy already had like the hair.
I do have exactly his hair. I did not have to change my hair at all.
She really just needed a little bit of white face paint.
I just put some gel in this bitch, and it's perfect. Things happened.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Perfect.
Yeah. So go check that out. Also, make sure you leave us a 5-star review wherever you're listening. I know it sounds silly, but it literally makes a huge difference for us if you have that 5-star review. If you are listening on a platform that you already left a review, I don't know, maybe open Spotify and do it there.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe open Apple Podcasts and do it there. Because the more people that listen, the longer we can keep making this podcast. And we would like to do it for a very long time.
Please.
Please. You think this white face paint, it's expensive.
Yeah, I want it so bad. Come on. I'm just a baby.
To everyone who is on our Patreon and has left us 5-star reviews, we totally dig you. You guys are the best. And honestly, you're the best just for listening. And we totally just are happy that you're here.
We
hating
are.
With us.
Hating. I know. Every once in a while, every once in a blue moon, we turn into a haterade episode. And
it feels good.
It does feel good.
You know why?
Why?
Because our whole lives, especially as women, we're like told like you got to be nice, you got to be like amiable, you know, like you got to make people like you. So every once in a while, it feels good to be like, I just don't fucking care about that.
No, absolutely.
I'm cutting loose today.
Cutting loose. The juice is loose.
The juice is loose. Okay.
Sorry, Beetlejuice also said that. So.
Ugh. I need to see that.
Just saying.
Yeah. I also make sure you check out my episode on See Jurassic Right, where we talk about all the Alien movies. It's a really fun listen. I actually re-listened. I don't usually listen to episodes of things that I'm on because I don't like to listen to myself talk. I do that enough for this job. But I did listen to it and actually really enjoyed it.
It is fun.
It was a very fun one.
Yes.
Yeah. So go make sure you check that out. That is on our Instagram and on my Instagram at Casaraptor on IG.
I have a couple birthday anniversary celebrations.
Throw them at me, girlfriend.
Because there's a lot going on in October. Everybody
gets married in October.
Everybody gets married in October. Shout out me. I did. Also, everyone was born in October, apparently. So let's fucking go. Firstly and foremostly, I would like to give a belated birthday shout out to CK, who is one of our cool kids and someone that we have met multiple times and spent time with, and they're fucking awesome.
Yeah, they live in LA and we have such a great time every time we hang out with them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Such a joy.
Such a joy. Yes.
Really funny.
Yes,
yeah.
Absolutely. Secondly, happy 25th birthday to Sydney. Sydney Prescott.
Okay.
The Sydney Prescott.
I see you.
Also, happy birthday to Mahoney's fiance, Matilda, who actually Matilda requested a birthday shout out.
We just do this last week?
So now opposite. You got to give it up for Mahoney and Matilda.
Are you guys the same sign? I would love to know.
Oh yeah, I went because it was recently.
Yeah,
right?
I don't know when. I don't know anybody that has these signs. So I don't know when the signs transfer over.
Oh yeah, I don't either.
Yeah.
That's a good.
Yeah, so I don't know.
So let us know. Also, another belated birthday to Trinity, who is a new cool kid. And it is also their anniversary with their husband.
Oh, Trinity. And so Trinity got their Patreon membership as their birthday present from their husband. So that's a good husband already.
It's a very good husband.
Yes. And I'm glad you guys are recovering well after the hurricane.
Yes.
We were thinking about you and we're very, very happy that you're doing well. And happy birthday. And happy anniversary.
And all of those.
Yeah.
And then another happy 5-year anniversary to Carly and Laura. It is also my 5-year anniversary coming up next week.
It's Amanda's anniversary on Sunday.
It is, yes.
Right? Yeah.
So happy anniversary.
I was there.
And last but not least, I personally have a very important birthday to shout out. It is my brother, Matthew Goodness's birthday today as we record this podcast.
Matt, I love you.
The man, the myth, the legend.
I don't know if you remember this, but I remember it so deeply. One time I'd met you like maybe once or twice in New York, and it was your birthday once, and Amanda called you, and I said, tell your brother, say happy birthday, and then I love him. And she goes, I'm not going to tell him that you love him. You don't even know him. And then I heard him just go, love you?
Yeah, he was very scared and very confused.
I'm a lover. I can't lie. I say I love you. If the second I'm like, all right, if this person is important to someone that's important to me, I love them already.
He just always, my brother was never like quite as like love, like I'm very
gregarious.
Yeah, and I'm very like, I say I love you to everybody.
Yeah.
And my brother is like he says I love you to obviously like me and the family, but he's not as forthcoming with his emotions.
But yeah,
so he
Matt,
was like, what?
We do love you. I hope to play trivia with you soon.
Yes.
You're my buddy, and happy birthday.
Happy freaking birthday. We love you.
We love you. Well, on that note, should we get started?
On that note, I'm going to slice you open and cut out your insides and eat them.
Oh, I have to be less expressive because he's got a lot of filler.
Oh, yeah. Don't move your face while I cut you open, okay?
God, not again.
Not again.
Hello, welcome back
Welcome back
to the Art the Clown and Long Legs comedy hour.
Does Longlegs have a name? Like, does he have a name, or is he just Daddy?
Long Legs.
Oh.
He's long legs. Yeah.
I don't even know why I'm calling him Daddy. Oh, Daddy
Longlegs.
Duh.
I did send Amanda there was a spider in my shower.
Oh, yes. That was a Daddy Longlegs.
And I sent like a whole fucking saga of videos because I'm really afraid of spiders. And he was really testing my luck.
He wanted to see you naked.
He did.
And he did.
All right. So today, I really liked my story last week about like an origin of something that like we think is one way and maybe it's the other way.
I already love what you're about to tell me.
And so I decided to look into the origin of one of my favorite words and one of my favorite creatures, ghouls.
Yes.
Because it has a surprising origin from a culture that I personally am like low-key obsessed with.
Oh, I love a ghoul.
We love a ghoul. We love a little guy.
Oh my God.
We're all about it.
Hell yes.
So my sources today were the Encyclopedia Britannica, a research paper titled The Arabic Ghoul and Its Western Transformation by Ahmed K. Al-Rai. What?
I already know what culture you're obsessed with.
Yeah. And Wikipedia.
Perfect.
Anyone who's listened to this podcast knows that I love the Middle East. I love Arab culture. I love the food. I love the people. I love the hospitality. I love it.
Yes.
So when I decided to look up what's the origin of ghouls, and I found out that it has like literally one of the most ancient origins in the world. I was like, yes, please.
I also want to know like what exactly the definition of this specific ghoul that you're talking about is.
You're gonna love this.
Okay, can't wait.
So ghouls, this is literally the first sentence that I wrote down. Ghouls, you know them, you love them, but do you really know what it is?
No, tell me what a ghoul is, baby.
Nobody knows. Well, that's where I come in, darling.
Thanks, Daddy.
So the term ghoul actually originated in the Middle East. A ghoul is a demon or monster, and it's actually a type of jinn.
Okay, yes, which we have mentioned briefly.
Yes. In some tales, a ghoul is a creature that lives in a graveyard and eats human flesh, while in other stories, a ghoul is described as living in the desert and appearing like a beautiful woman to lure people into the desert so that she can eat them. Ghouls are most of the time women.
A ghoul is a beautiful woman?
A ghoul is a girl boss, is all I'm hearing.
Okay. I knew I liked ghouls.
So ghouls in the traditional sense are traditionally female, but in the modern Western use of the word, it's more of like an ambiguous creature.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when I think ghoul, I think like goblin-esque. That's kind of where I think.
In a lot of the writings about them, that's like the first thing they say. Like ghouls are often confused for goblins or dwarves or something like that, but they are their own concept. They're their own thing.
Of course they are. They're ghouls. They deserve it.
So a ghoul and the idea of a ghoul is quite old. It is an Arabic folklore that has BCE origins. Sorry, Amanda. So before the Common Era, that's what BCE means.
Yeah. It's not cute.
And in fact, writings of ghouls and the concept of a ghoul is older than most modern religions, including Christianity, Judaism, and even Islam, which is obviously the main religion in that area. Like,
I mean,
old. Like just the idea that ghoul is that old to me is crazy.
Once again, I knew I loved a ghoul. They're just great.
So the original concept of a ghoul seems to come from Galu, which is the name of an Akkadian demon from the Mesopotamian mythology. So this is like way BCE.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's even farther BCE.
It's hurting her head.
Please don't tell me about it.
Ghoul also seems to be a starting point for many popular modern monsters like zombies and even vampires.
Oh.
So in many tales about ghouls, they eat human flesh, they can't go out in the sun, and are often described as having decaying flesh or other undead-like qualities.
Yeah, okay. That sounds like a vampire or a zombie.
Yeah. So everybody, I would assume if you're listening to this podcast, you've heard...
Everybody wants to be a ghoul.
ghoul. I would assume that you've heard of the movie Night of the Living Dead.
Yes.
Which is considered like the origin of the modern zombie movie. But to quote the director and creator George Romero directly, he said, "We never called them zombies. We thought of them as ghouls."
Well. Uh-huh. Who the fuck created the zombie?
Well, so people started calling the monsters in Night of the Living Dead zombies, but he said the original concept was that they were ghouls, like this ancient idea of a ghoul.
You're taking away from the fucking gabagools over here.
You're stealing from the gabagools.
Don't be stealing from them. Or the fucking mob is going to come after you.
The mob.
Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously we see another form of the ghoul in the new Fallout TV show, which is a decaying human being that's kept alive through radiation after nuclear fallout. The word ghoul is used in, multiple ways is what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
Ghoul has also been used as an insult, especially in Arab culture, for someone who is very gluttonous or greedy. Like someone
ghoul.
like someone who's consuming over what they need to consume. And a lot of the folklore stories tell tales of the dangers of being greedy or untrustworthy when like a ghoul is present in those stories.
Sorry, I just love the word ghoul.
The word ghoul
good.
is so good. And I would just like to say thank you to all languages that had to come together to create the word ghoul, because I am a huge fan.
Yeah, you really nailed it.
You really fucking killed it with that one, brother.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll tell you that. And so ghoul was spelt and pronounced probably a little bit differently than the way that I'm spelling and pronouncing it right now, because it was like a strictly Arab idea until the 18th century, when a book that might sound familiar was translated from Arabic to French and titled The 1001 Nights.
Never heard of it.
I guarantee you have, because this is the name of the book where the tale of Aladdin came from.
Oh, I love Aladdin.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, he's so hot.
So that was the way that the idea of a ghoul was introduced to the West. So this book
Who was the ghoul? The genie?
So this book had like a bunch of different stories to be told. It was kind of like parables, which
Okay.
we've talked about in other times. Folklore, different stories are being told. There's a lot of like cliffhangers. There's a bunch of different characters. It's basically a bunch of short stories combined. It's an
Okay.
anthology, we'll say. So this book is a collection of stories that teach lessons about trust, greed, and other mortal follies. One of the shorter stories is actually titled The King's Son and the She-Ghoul. And you guessed it. It's about a prince who is tricked by one of his friends into going into the woods and getting lost while hunting. And this
You guessed it.
you guessed it. There's a she-ghoul involved. So this prince goes into the woods searching after a beast that it was hunting, and it was an advisor, like a royal advisor, who's the one that told them to go out there. And when he's out in the woods, he encounters a woman who invites him in for some warmth and food, but once he's inside, he realizes that she is in fact a ghoul.
A ghoul.
A ghoul.
She said, "Do you want some gabagool?"
So she intends on eating him and probably also heating him up. I don't know.
She did say warmth,
She did say warmth.
to be fair.
But because he is pure of heart, when he prays to God to save him, he is able to escape and find his way home. Thank you, Allah.
Wow.
So the guy who left the prince for dead, who is, one of these higher up, dudes in the royal family or whatever, he ends up being executed because he tricked this prince into going into the forest knowing that there was a ghoul who lived there who might kill him.
Right.
And this story is used in a broader sense in this book. Like I said, it's an anthology, so there's like people telling other people's stories. So this is like a story somebody in the book is being told by somebody else. And this story is told to try and convince a king to execute one of his advisors because he's like, look, see, anybody can turn on you.
Got it.
Which once again is a parable all about trust and greed and understanding of things that are happening around
Never
you.
trust a ghoul.
Do not trust a ghoul. Or maybe
Well,
do.
maybe.
I don't know.
I was going to say. Maybe you can.
We got any ghouls watching?
I'm definitely a little ghoulish.
Jump in the chat. I look like a ghoul right now. I'm looking at myself.
You do. I mean, we both look like different types of ghouls.
Very unique, different types of ghouls, for sure.
If a ghoul can be anything.
Listen,
We don't look like beautiful women.
it's 20. No, we do not. I was gonna say it's 2024. A ghoul can be anything she wants to be. Okay,
That's so real.
I support women's wrongs and their
women's
rights.
That's right.
So ghouls are also very often times associated with hyenas.
Really?
So hyenas, I mean, it makes sense because in a lot of folklore, especially African folklore, hyenas are portrayed as tricksters who want to lure people into the desert. They're also known for having like a laugh or a cry that sounds human to like trick people to coming out into the desert, and then they can attack them, which is basically the same concept as a ghoul.
Well.
I love folklore because like 90% of it is just like don't walk into the wilderness.
I mean, why would you?
Because that's what I'm saying. You think
Don't go out into the woods alone. Don't go out into the darkness. Don't go into the desert. Don't go anywhere. That is the moral of the story. Okay? Listen to me.
Amanda's advice is stay fucking home.
Stay home. Don't go anywhere.
But no, like the idea is there's all these stories that are like, don't go into the woods alone. It's dangerous because for like thousands of millions of years, that was our biggest concern.
Yeah.
Like just don't wander
No, especially alone.
and stay away from rivers.
Rivers too?
They will get your ass.
Oh God. There's always a creature. There's always a creature lurking somewhere.
There's always a creature. If there's one thing I've learned in this life is that there's always a creature. And sometimes that creature is me. You know what I mean?
Most of the time. Majority of the time. It's daddy short legs.
So I did want to tell my favorite ghoul story
Oh my God.
that I came across.
Okay. Ghoul it up, baby.
Researching all of this. And this folklore story comes from Syria, and it is called The Woodcutter's Wealthy Sister.
Ooh.
So there was a woodcutter and laborer who had 10 kids and a wife that he could barely afford. He was mean-spirited and abusive to his wife. He was mean to her. He didn't treat the kids right. And his wife just did the best that she could in their circumstances because they were quite poor.
Why did you have 10 children?
People just be popping them out back in the
That
day.
is too many.
It's too many. Have you never seen The Duggars?
Hello.
How'd that end up? Jail. That's
Not
how.
good.
So he wanted money so badly, and he talked about it often, and he was known as a very greedy, cruel man. One day when he's outside working, a large caravan arrives going past the man's house. Very confused, he approaches and he asks what's going on. And one of the guards tells him that there's a very wealthy woman who is royalty and she's looking for her brother. The man, of course, is like, okay, I don't have a sister, so this isn't about me. And he turns to go back to work. But when he turns his back, he hears the voice of a woman behind him. The woman calls out to him saying, "Brother, brother," and excitedly rushes towards him. The woman is absolutely gorgeous, like just so beautiful. She's draped in expensive silks with gold jewelry, and she runs up and she hugs the man and says, "Brother, I am so excited to see you. I missed you."
He's like, you are way too sexy to be my sister, so please don't say that.
Stop saying that. And she says, look at you. You're filthy. You're so skinny. You know what? You and your family need to come live with me so I can take care of you because I have so much money. I don't even know what to do with it.
Sign me up.
And that's exactly what he says. So the woodcutter knows that he does not have a sister, but he sees how rich this woman is. Like, she has all this huge caravan with her. She's getting carried around by dudes, like, you know, just like hot dudes in one of those things that you see, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, with like
Yeah, like they're like carrying her
poles
up
on the thing.
Yeah, she's got the poles and she's got like drapery happening.
How do I get that job?
And so he goes, okay, new sister, let's go. Let's go, sis.
Let's go, you haughty little sis.
So he gathers up his 10 kids, his wife, and his cow, and they get ready to leave.
And the cow.
And the cow's going with.
You know what? Good for them.
The wife, of course, is like, what the fuck's going on? What the heck is happening here?
What the heck? You didn't tell me you had a haughty sister.
Well, she goes, you literally don't have a sister. We're from the same village. I know you don't have a sister.
Skirt.
So don't you think you should tell this lady that she has the wrong guy so that she can go find her real brother? And he's like, no, we basically just won the lottery. We're absolutely not letting this opportunity pass us up. We are going to go live in the palace with this lady.
Is it Princess Jasmine by any chance?
No, wrong story.
Oh, damn.
So they head to the palace where this lady lives, and she shows them this beautiful house on the property and says, you can live here as long as you need to. We will feed you. We will clothe you. We will pay for everything that you could possibly need. The kids are, of course, very stoked because it's way nicer than the place they were at before. And there's all this landscaped land around that they can go and play and, like, you know.
This sounds like a dream.
Adventure. Exactly. It's literally a dream. And every single night they have these really fancy dinners and feasts where they have all this delicious food that these kids have never had before. They all start to gain the weight back. They were like really skinny because they were so poor. They started to gain the weight back. And
it's so easy to gain the weight back.
It's, girl, let me tell you.
It's so easy.
You know, everyone's kind of settling into this new cushy lifestyle of theirs, but the wife is having a very hard time. So she just has this feeling that something isn't right. And every time that she tells her husband, he's like, shut up. We're so lucky. How could you question this? Like, we really have it done finally. You just need to like chill out and let me do this. Because of this, she starts to have trouble sleeping at night. And one night she's awake staring out the window when she sees the wealthy woman approaching from her palace towards the house.
She's a fucking ghoul.
Except when she gets closer, she can see that the woman's face is grotesque. Her eyes are the wrong color. The skin is like sagging off of her face. And the wife realizes this woman is, in fact, a ghoul. Yes.
Damn. She's no longer sexy.
But just as the ghoul is about to enter the house, the cow that the family brought with them shows up and bites the ghoul, scaring her off away from the house.
The cow?
The cow.
Ugh. See, I knew that cow was going to do something good. I felt it in my bones.
Always trust a cow.
Always trust a cow. I felt it in my bones that his milk gave to my bones to make them strong.
Yeah, you felt it in your bone broth.
Yeah.
So the next morning, the wife, of course, tells her husband what she saw the night before, and he does not believe her.
He sucks.
Have we not told you? I feel like every piece of folklore and every parable we tell you guys on this podcast is like, trust your wife.
Yes.
please.
Please trust your wife. She knows what the fuck she's doing. Men, trust your wife.
A woman's intuition, it's hard to beat.
Yeah. Anyone, trust your wife. Just trust
your wife. She loves you.
Or she hates you, but trust her anyway.
Well, the problem is, and I will say this is an aside, this has nothing to do with ghouls. If your wife doesn't nag you, doesn't bother you about anything, that bitch does not like you.
She don't care.
I mean, she's given up, and one day she's going to leave you for a man that she does care about, and you're going to be like, I never saw it coming.
Or she's fucking the pool boy.
Maybe she's fucking the pool boy. I don't know.
It's
not my life, it's yours. It's not my wife, it's yours.
He came in the thong. What did you want her to do? You treat her bad.
You treat her bad.
You know?
Figure it out. Okay. That's what Daddy Long Legs says.
Daddy Short Legs.
Daddy Short Legs. So, of course, she's begging him. She's pleading with him. Please, please, please. I saw this thing last night, and the husband goes, you know what? I think you're just jealous because she's so beautiful and she's so wealthy and you are none of those things. And so you're just jealous, and that's why you're trying to get us to leave.
Oh, hell no. Why I oughta.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna fucking stab that man.
So that same day, the woman, the princess, she comes and tells the husband, oh, brother, I'm so hungry, and tonight I'm craving meat for dinner. Can we slaughter your cow and the cooks can make it for us tonight?
No.
And he tells her, of course, sister. You've given us so much. The least I can do is give you my cow.
No.
So here they are. They're having dinner. The wife is like not even hungry. She's like, oh my God, this sucks.
Yeah, she's like, I didn't want to eat our fucking cow. I liked my cow.
Also, the cow is the one thing that was protecting me from this fucking ghoul.
Oh my God. Now you have no protection because of the stupid husband who didn't listen to his wife.
Uh-huh. Always listen to your wife.
What did we say?
Uh-huh. So after they get home from dinner, she tells him again, we need to leave. That cow was the one thing that kept this ghoul from attacking our family and eating our 10 children. Ugh. And have you noticed? She's been feeding us these rich foods, but she barely eats, and now we're all fat.
Yeah, she's trying to plump
and
us up.
Plumped up.
Duh, this is just like a ghoul.
And of course, once again, he does not believe his wife. He tells her, you're just jealous. You wish you were rich and beautiful like her. You wish you could stop eating like her.
Ugh.
You know what I mean? Like,
oh, he's really shaming her.
yeah, he's abusive. He's a bad guy.
Yeah.
So the wife, being the little smarty pants that she is, she waits for him to fall asleep. And as soon as she hears him start snoring, she wakes all 10 kids up and they flee the palace.
Yes.
Because she's like, I'm
You're
not getting ghouled to death.
Yeah, you're not going to get me, bitch.
So they head back to their old home and their old life. And as for the husband, no one can know for sure because he was never seen again after that night.
I hope that ghoul fucking ate his ass.
Oh, you know she ate his ass. Well, his rump.
His Rumpelstiltskin.
Yeah, he was fucking ghouled up. For sure.
Good. As he deserves to
As
be.
he deserves. He should.
And she had to be a fucking single mom to those 10 kids, but you know what?
I didn't even think about that. Single mom to
That's
10
rough.
kids.
That's a little rough.
10 kids.
That's so many.
That's so many kids.
But you know what? Better than to be with this fucking piece of shit,
That is a very good point.
you know?
That is a very good point.
Who I'm sorry, you'd rather what? Fuck the ghoul?
You trying to get with your fake sister Ghoul over here?
Yeah. First of all, she thinks you're her brother.
Be so
number
for
one.
real. Be so for real.
And number two, she's a ghoul. She's a literal ghoul. Like,
She's a literal ghoul.
you literally deserve what you got. I'm sorry.
But yes, while there are many critiques, very valid critiques of the French interpretation of this book, it does seem to be one of the first introductions of the word ghoul or the concept of a ghoul to the West as we now know it.
Could not love the word ghoul more.
Ghoul is such a good
Such
word.
a gruel word.
What a girl. But yes, I love the word ghoul. I love Arab culture to me is just like, I don't know. I love it. You know,
I mean, I could literally eat that food every day of my life.
the food, the people, the language, like hearing Arabic spoken is like, it's such a treat.
Yeah.
It's really such a treat. And
I have 2 Arabic friends at work and they speak to each other in Arabic and it's awesome.
yeah. I mean, you guys know one of my closest friends was a Muslim Arabic woman who I felt, she's no longer with us, but I felt like it was such a treat to be involved with her family and her friends. And she was first generation, you know, from Lebanon, and everything that's going on there. I think there's a lot of dehumanization going on. And I think we could all be due to remember that a lot of our cool shit came from the Middle East.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And I know you all love a ghoul.
If you don't love a ghoul, what are you even doing here?
Yeah, if you don't love a ghoul, then you better get out.
It's kind of the concept of our whole show.
You better leave
This is pro ghoul.
right now. You better leave right now if you don't love a ghoul.
Pro ghoul, pro wife.
Yeah. So remember that, kids.
But yeah, so there is the origins of ghouls.
Thank you, Daddy.
I just had so much fun last week with the elves that
it
I
was
had to
great.
go ghoul this week.
I love it. I really appreciate it. I think that was the best thing you could have done.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm all ghouled up on a Monday.
Ghouled up on a Monday.
Hey.
I gotta pee.
Okay. I did too many things.
Are you out of breath again?
Well, I got up. I had to unzip my thing. I had to go pee. I did like a whole thing.
I was actually wondering where you were because I was like, wow, it's taking her a long time.
Yeah,
And I even like took my time going to the bathroom. You know what I mean? It wasn't in a hustle.
Well, I had to unzip my clown suit.
I forgot about the clown suit
and that took a
situation.
while.
Yeah.
So sorry about that.
Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back. You sounded like, what's his name? A little bit.
Who?
What's his fucking name? What's his fucking name?
Can you tell me what he does?
Well, he's an actor.
Okay.
I was gonna say he's from Hairspray, but that's not gonna mean anything to you.
John Travolta?
Nope.
That's the only one I know.
Oh my god. Okay, hold on. Now I gotta look it up.
He's a TV.
You sounded just like him
Which part?
when you said "Welcome back."
Welcome back, everybody. Oh,
Yes.
you're talking about Christopher Walken.
Christopher Walken. Yeah, that was good. That was a good Christopher.
That was an
Walken.
accident.
Well, you did it really good.
Want to know what's ironic? I've tried to do Christopher Walken and couldn't. And of course, that's the one time I will never be able to replicate it.
The second you said it, I said, "Oh,
God,
that's
damn it.
him." It was like
God
I closed.
damn it.
Oh, it's pretty good. I think it's because you're in the Daddy Short Legs costume.
I know. There's something about trying to pretend to be Nicolas Cage that like somehow gave me acting powers. I'm like,
You can do all the impressions that you never thought you could do.
I'm actually like way less sweaty than I was expecting to be.
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not bad in here.
My other costumes were way sweatier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah. Shout out Carhartt.
Shout out. All right. Are you ready?
Yes, my dear. What are we learning about today?
Today, okay. So I was very surprised to realize that in the 4.5 years that we have been doing this podcast, we have never covered this story,
Okay.
which really shocked me because this is allegedly, but most definitely, the case that inspired the 1973 classic horror film, The Exorcist.
I thought we did cover this.
We have not.
Really? Not even on Patreon?
Nope.
Because we've talked about it. That's where I always get confused.
So
when we've like mentioned stuff.
We covered Annalise Michelle,
Yes.
who was Emily Rose,
Yes.
and we covered another female exorcism case that I can't remember.
Well, we also covered the haunted film set of The Exorcist.
Yes, we did.
I think that's maybe what I'm thinking of, and when we talked about the original, what it's based on, but we never went into it.
We never told the story.
Well, let's fucking go, brother.
And this is The Exorcism of Roland Doe. My sources were the book Possessed by Thomas B. Allen, Exorcism Expose on the St. Louis Archives, Mysterious Universe by Brent Swancer,
course.
just a little bit, just a little tidbit.
Your guy.
The Washington Post by Bill Brinkley, All That's Interesting by William DeLong, and the documentary on this case, which is on Max. It's really good. It's really interesting. They talk to a lot of people that some were involved, some new people.
What's it called?
I believe it's called The Exorcism of Roland Doe.
Okay.
If you just type in Roland Doe on Max, it'll show up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I actually might watch that tonight.
Yes, it's good.
Love a good doc.
Also, every single time I research like a poltergeist or an exorcist case, without fail, like weird things happen in my house.
Every time. Happened last week too.
Yeah. Every
what
single
happened
time.
this week?
Just like I was researching it this morning and I just hear sounds coming from my kitchen and all of my animals were on the bed with me. I'm like, what? Why?
Yeah.
Every time, without fail. So this story is obviously very well known, like I said. It is the Exorcism of Roland Doe, which they call him Roland Doe is a pseudonym for what his real name was.
Yes.
And this was used to protect the true identity of the boy from this story. Another pseudonym you might have heard is Robbie Manaham.
Yes. It's also one of the reasons they made it a girl in the movie is because, sorry, not to
No, that's
jump
literally,
ahead.
I think that's literally one of the last things I say in this story.
Oh,
but
okay, yeah.
They turned it in the movie into a girl named Reagan, obviously. And that was also to protect this boy because he did not want his name out there.
Yes.
That being said, in the last couple of years, his name has come out and it's in the public and it's all over all the articles I read. Mm-hmm. But I am only going to be calling him Roland today. Okay. I'm not going to call him by his real name.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Yeah. So Roland Doe was born on June 1st, 1935 in Cottage City, Maryland. He was an only child and a pretty shy kid by all accounts. So he didn't really have too many friends at school. He typically was known to depend on the adults in his life to play with him when he was a kid.
Okay.
And one of those adults was his favorite person that he loved to spend time with, and that was his Aunt Harriet, and she lived in St. Louis.
Okay.
So every time she would come to Maryland to visit, he was so excited to hang out with her, and the two of them would just like spend so much time together and teach each other things and had so much fun.
Hey, there's nothing better than a cool aunt.
Yeah. Love a cool aunt. You're going to be a cool aunt. I mean, you already are, but to my kid, you're going to be a cool aunt. So as Roland got a little older, he was 13 years old, about to be 14. Aunt Harriet, who had always been a very spiritual lady, decided to introduce him to the world of the Ouija board. She taught him all about what they are. She taught him how to use one, and he very much enjoyed it.
Once again, it does sound like me as an aunt.
Once again, like I said, this is going to just be Cassidy. On Saturday, January 15th, 1949, Roland's parents went out for the evening, leaving Roland with his grandmother. Pretty soon after they left, Roland and his grandma started to hear a loud dripping sound throughout the house, kind of like a leaky faucet.
Okay.
So they're like, what is that mysterious dripping sound? And they, sorry.
Just like that.
Just like that. And they went around the whole house to try to figure out where the sound was coming from. And they just could not find the source, no matter where they went. It almost sounded as though it was coming from inside the walls.
That means you're either haunted or you have a bad leak problem. Either one sucks.
Either one sucks.
It's going to be bad news either direction there.
They began to enter every single room and kind of like just stand at the doorway and listen to see if it got louder in different rooms or whatever. But all they kept hearing was this continuous dripping sound over and over again. It was almost like rhythmic at this point.
Okay.
When they finally entered the grandmother's room, they not only heard the dripping sound even louder, but the painting of Jesus Christ that was hanging on her wall
Not a good start. Whatever you're about to say, I already know it's going to be bad.
started to violently shake.
Yeah, there you go. Knew it. Called it.
It's never good. It's never good.
First of all, what are you doing with a painting of Jesus Christ on your wall? Don't do that.
She's very religious. What do you-
I feel like you're not to victim shame, but you're asking for it a little bit.
She wants Jesus to watch over her while she
It's just an
sleeps.
easy target.
It's a very easy target.
Yeah.
The one thing that you guys know is that a demon is going to target you if you have anything about Jesus.
You're hanging crosses.
Yeah.
Get out of here. Those are turning upside down immediately.
They're turning upside down. They're flying off the wall. That's typical demon behavior,
They're
guys.
stabbing right by your head.
Literally.
You know what I
They're
mean?
barely missing you.
Yeah.
But they are missing you, but barely.
As a warning. We don't know what's going to happen next.
So naturally, both Roland and his grandmother were very freaked out about this literal shaking of the picture of Jesus Christ on the wall and also by the dripping sound. But by the time Roland's parents got home that evening, the sound of the dripping had completely stopped.
Ran out of water.
However, a different sound had begun. And this time it was the sound of scratching, as if claws were scraping against wood.
Way worse than water.
You think?
Yeah, because like water, that's structural damage.
Right.
Scratching, that's like
It's coming to get you.
yeah, and like if it's a being, scary. If it's an animal, gross. Have
yeah.
to deal with that. I don't want to have to deal with
No,
that.
absolutely. You're so
Yeah.
right. So the sound was coming specifically from the grandmother's bedroom, of course, with the shaking picture of Jesus.
That's on her.
That is on her. And it sounded like it was coming from under her bed.
Okay.
So Roland's father looks under the bed and he doesn't see anything. And he's kind of like, you know what? It's probably just rats or mice under the floorboards, because that's kind of what it sounds like.
Typical rat mouse situation.
Typical rat behavior. And when the scratching sounds start up again the next night, Roland's father is like, let's just call an exterminator. We'll get those little guys out of here. No big deal. So the exterminator comes. He pulls up the floorboards and he doesn't see any signs of rodents. He doesn't see rodent poopy. He doesn't see anything anywhere. He's like, I don't know what to tell you. So for the next few nights, specifically around 7 p.m., the scratching sounds would start up again and last until midnight. On January 26th, 11 days after the sounds were being heard throughout the house, Roland's favorite person, his Aunt Harriet, passed away in her home in St. Louis.
Oh, poor baby.
On the night of her passing, the sounds around the home migrated downstairs to Roland's room. He began to hear what sounded like squeaking shoes walking around his room. And these sounds continued on for the next 6 nights. On the 6th night, Roland's mom and grandma were laying in bed with Roland, and they were just kind of like, because he had been hearing these sounds and he was really scared. And this was also on top of the scratching sounds as well. So he's like, I don't know what's going on. There's like squeaking sounds in my room.
Yeah.
And when they're all in the bed together, they can all hear what sounded like feet marching up and down the side of the bed. After several minutes of this happening, Roland's mom blurted out, "Is this you, Aunt Harriet?"
Okay.
The marching stopped. She said again, "If you are Harriet, knock 3 times." And that's when a wave of pressure or air went through the 3 of them sitting on the bed, and the sound of a knock was heard on the floor below them.
Just one knock, though, not 3.
Then another wave, and another knock.
Oh, no.
And of course, a third wave and a third knock.
You can never trust it, though, you guys. You got to know.
You gotta know.
That's what demons do.
Yeah. Roland's mom then said, "If you are Harriet, tell me positively by knocking 4 times." So obviously she was a little skeptical. She didn't believe it. And sure enough, 4 knocks were heard on the floor. And just as the 4th knock came, they could hear what sounded like a claw scratching underneath them inside the mattress.
I don't like... In the mattress?
In the mattress.
Nowhere is
And they
safe.
could kind of like feel things below their bottoms.
Nowhere is safe.
At first, they didn't really seem to react until the bed began to violently shake while all 3 of them were on top of it.
Yeah, of course. Why not?
The shaking stopped, And then the edges of the bed cover, so like under the mattress, you know, that little bed cover, the edges flew out from underneath the mattress and stood, and this is in quotations, stood up above the surface of the bed in a curled form as though held up by starch.
Yeah, that's not great. It's not something you would want to happen to you ever.
Quite disgusting, if you ask me.
Pretty vile.
That's, in my personal, humble opinion, that's all that would take for me to move.
Yeah. Once again,
we've talked about this.
We always talk about this.
I know.
But it's like,
we just talked about it last week.
We also just talked about it on the Patreon where it's like, do you know how expensive a house is? Imagine you bought that shit and then all of a sudden they're telling you, hey, you got to sell it. It's going to take X amount of time.
And sometimes you have nowhere to go.
And also you're poor now because you bought a house.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing. We get it. We get it. It's hard. But now the experiences, besides the shaking of the bed and the scratches underneath the mattress that were happening for days on end to Roland, now it started happening like at school too. So outside of the home. At school, his desk would move around and bang into other desks. And his teacher would always obviously assume Roland was like kicking around his desk or pushing it. And she'd be like, Roland, stop. And he would scream out, I'm not doing it. It's not me. Which I know that feeling so well.
When something's happening.
Or like when you, not even when something's happening, not even, this has nothing even to do with paranormal, but like when you didn't do something and people are blaming you for something. And you're like, I didn't do it. Right?
Yeah.
And you're so frustrated. You're like, I didn't do it. It's not me.
Yeah. You're like, it's making you so mad.
Yeah. And that's literally what's happening to this poor kid, but with paranormal stuff. So then things at home also got more intense. A coat hanger flew out of a closet across the room. The kitchen table completely tipped over, as well as all these things kept on falling off the countertops. And a Bible flew off the bookshelf and landed at Roland's feet.
Not the Bible.
Yes, the Bible. You know. One Sunday, the whole family, including some other relatives that were visiting, were sitting in the living room when the chair Roland was sitting in levitated slightly off the floor and then flipped over, causing Roland to fall onto the ground. Roland's dad and each of his uncles then took turns sitting in the chair, trying to like cause it to flip over in the same way, and it just wasn't happening to any of them.
Yeah.
And they're like, that's so strange. What's going on here?
Huh. I wonder.
Then a couple days later, they end up going, like the family ends up going to a friend's house about 40 miles away. And this chair thing happens again. But this time, the chair that Roland was sitting in lifted up off the ground, spun around in circles like a spinning top, while his feet were not even touching the ground.
Oh my God.
And all of these people saw it.
Yeah.
How do you explain that? Tell me. Okay.
Like that. I feel like you're talking to a specific group of people.
Because I am not, okay, I'll say this in the middle of the story, and I feel like you guys already know, but I believe in this stuff.
Yeah.
And I know there's a lot of people that don't.
Yeah.
And are skeptical, but I am not one of them. So if you can explain to me, then do it. Okay? Thanks. So it wasn't until one night when Roland began to scream in the middle of the night, and his parents and grandmother run into his room. And as Roland was laying in his bed screaming just like these horrifying sounds, right? A dresser slid across the room and banged against the door, like trying to keep them inside. And then one by one, the drawers began to open and close. And after that night, they got in touch with Reverend Luther Miles Schultz.
Okay. Gotta have one.
You gotta. So after talking to Roland and his parents, he decided he was going to come visit the home because he's like, okay, like this sounds like something I should probably see for myself because I don't know if I believe you.
Check out. Yeah.
Yeah. And the Reverend did think at first like Roland was pranking everybody. And he started to think like, okay, he's working through these stages of grief. He's really upset about his aunt. Maybe like this is his way of coping. Yeah. I don't know. Like he's obviously going through it.
Makes sense.
But he did keep that information to himself just because he was like, okay, I'm still trying to figure out what's happening. I want to be sensitive to these people. But after spending time at the house, even throughout the night, like he was literally spending the night with Roland in his room. He witnessed the furniture moving around, dishes flying through the air, and even saw Roland's bed violently shake and experienced the scratching underneath the mattress. One night, I think this was when, I don't know if this was when he was at Roland's house or one of the nights that Roland spent the night at his house, because Roland did sleep at the Reverend's house with him too. But he had Roland tied up in a chair I know it sounds creepy, but to ensure that he wasn't doing the things, obviously, to.
Yes, you would think there'd be a better way to do that, but I
guess
like I get it.
There could be a possible better way. But
how old was Roland again?
14.
Oh, okay, yeah, tie him up. Who gives a shit?
Tie up that little fucking teenager.
Yeah, whatever. Teenagers deserve it.
Yeah, you're like, if he's 8, don't tie him up. But if he's 14, whatever.
14, he gets it. He knows what's going on. He knows the deal.
But sure enough, even though he was literally tied up in a chair, not anywhere near the bed, all of the things continued to happen.
Yeah, of course.
Of course, because it's a fucking demon, okay? By February 26th, deep red scratches would appear on Roland's arms, legs, chest, and abdomen. Some were just lines, and some were forming letters of the alphabet. So now Reverend Schultz is like, I'm at a loss for words. I don't know what the fuck to say. I don't know what's going on. And he believed that they were dealing with some sort of evil demonic presence here.
Makes sense.
But he didn't have any experience with this kind of stuff. So he told the family, and I quote, "You have to go see a Catholic priest."
I was just about to say, he's only a reverend.
Yeah.
He's no Catholic.
He said, the Catholics know about things like this.
Yeah.
Okay?
Not for me.
Not for me. I don't know shit. Talk to one of those guys. So the next day, Roland's father calls the rectory of St. James, and he asks to speak to a priest. And the guy he gets in contact with is named Father Hughes, who's like kind of like a relatively new priest. So he doesn't know too much about possession and exorcisms and stuff.
Okay.
So before agreeing to meet with the family, Father Hughes is like, okay, try some of these things out first. He gives them these special blessed candles and holy water. And he's like, sprinkle this shit around, light these candles, and then see what happens. Well, sure enough, the holy water was thrown across the room and shattered because, hello, demons don't like holy water. I don't know if you guys know that.
They do not.
And when his mother would bring the candles into Roland's room at night and try to like pray on the bed with him, the entire bed would sway back and forth while they were sitting on it.
That's not a great start either.
No. So they called back Father Hughes and they're like, buddy, this ain't working. So you got to come figure something else out. And Father Hughes came to the house to visit with Roland. And allegedly, Roland began speaking in perfect Latin to the priest.
That's not a good sign, literally, ever.
It's not a good sign.
Yeah.
And this is obviously a language that his parents claimed he had never spoken before and hadn't learned. And the priest also said it was so fluent that there's just no way.
Yeah.
And that's when Father Hughes decided to ask permission from the Catholic Church to perform an exorcism. Because you have to jump through all these hoops.
Yeah, you have to have like a certain amount of evidence, not even just like visual. You have to have it like recorded. Mm-hmm. You have to have and you have to like send it as like a packet to the Vatican, and the Vatican has to approve it.
Yeah, there's like a whole thing you have to do. So it actually takes a little bit of time.
It takes quite a bit of time, yeah.
So when this finally gets approved, Roland is taken to Georgetown Hospital. He was strapped to a bed and told to keep his eyes closed. Father Hughes entered the room. Keep in mind, I don't think he's ever done an exorcism before.
Yes, his first one.
Yes.
Yeah. He's brand new.
He's a pretty new guy. Father Hughes enters the room and begins sprinkling holy water around and reciting prayers in Latin. During the exorcism, Roland began to get more and more violent. He was cursing, he was screaming, claw marks began forming on his chest and his abdomen. And it all came to a head when Roland got one of his arms loose from his restraints.
Oh boy.
And no one in the room had noticed. He just slithered out of it.
Yeah.
He reached down under the side of the bed, pulled out a loose piece of the bed spring, and slashed Father Hugh's arm from the shoulder down to his wrist. This guy needed to get more than 100 stitches in his arm.
Jeez Louise. Okay.
Needless to say, to no surprise here, Father Hughes decided to not continue on with the exorcism.
Yeah, imagine that.
And reportedly disappeared from St. James Church altogether.
I do not blame him. I'd be like, you know what? I think I'm over this.
He said, not for me.
And once again, cannot blame him. That's exactly where I would be at too.
Same.
You know what? It was a fun ride.
You know what? I think I'm going to go on an island somewhere where no one can reach me.
I think I want to go to an island.
I think I need a pina colada.
Yeah, exactly.
So after this horrific experience, Roland's parents are discussing like the possibility of getting out of town. And they're like, maybe we can go to St. Louis for a bit to be with our family. And also thinking like maybe whatever's happening to Roland is attached to the house. So just getting away in general would be good.
What they always think.
That's what they all say.
Not the house that's haunted, it's your son.
That's right. So they still hadn't fully decided like if they're going to go or not, right? And then one night, Roland began to scream once again out in agony. His mom runs into his room and Roland pulls open his pajama top to reveal scratch marks across his chest. This time, they spelled out a word. Lewis.
And like what? You know what I mean? Like what are the chances that it would spell out a word?
The mom took this as a sign and she's like, okay, all right, we are going to St. Louis. This is my sign. But then Roland once again started to scream in pain. He pulled down his pajama bottoms and scratched into his hip, dripping in blood, was the word Saturday.
Oh my God. Okay.
The mom is like, okay, this, whatever this is communicating with me literally through my son's body, like through these bloody scratch marks. And instead of realizing like, oh, these are really painful and hurting him, she's like, so like, for how long am I supposed to go? Can you tell me, please?
Jeez Louise.
And across his body, the markings read 3.5 weeks.
Wow. Okay.
And this bitch is like, okay, great.
Goodbye.
Thank you so much. We're going to be doing that. We're going to go on Saturday for 3.5 weeks to St. Louis. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's actually crazy.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah. Could you just have one more thing?
Sorry, I just have one more little tiny question.
Could you just like etch into my son's skin the amount
Roland,
of time?
I'm so sorry, but like just one more little
You'll
question.
get over it. It's going to be fine.
On Saturday, March 5th, Roland and his parents went to Union Station in Washington and boarded a train to St. Louis. But of course, after arriving in St. Louis, all these horrific things, the scratching sounds, the walking around, the shaking of the bed, all was continuing to happen inside his family's house.
Yeah.
But now his other family members from St. Louis are experiencing all this firsthand. Like they had heard about it on the phone, but they're like seeing it for themselves.
Yeah.
And at this point, everyone, to my knowledge, still kinds of thinks Aunt Harriet is behind all this.
The dead one?
Yeah.
Okay.
They're like, okay, Aunt Harriet was like super spiritual.
So maybe she's
the one
haunting.
who showed the board to him. So
Okay.
everyone's thinking it's Aunt Harriet. But number one, why the fuck would she want to harm her favorite nephew?
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
And number two, the dripping sounds and the scratching sounds all happened before Aunt Harriet died.
Yes, that's a good point.
Yeah, it happened like 2 weeks before she died.
So this stuff had started before she even was able to
Exactly. But for a very long time, everyone in the family is pretty convinced it's Aunt Harriet.
Got it. Okay.
So they end up contacting a priest in St. Louis to come bless the house. And Father Bishop shows up. He does his thing. He like throws holy water around, throws holy water on Roland. But of course, this didn't work because all this stuff continued to happen.
Yeah.
The next day, Father Bishop comes back with another guy, Pastor William Bodern. And this guy brings like special relics with him to put
Okay.
under Roland's pillow. So one was a relic of Saint Margaret Mary, which I think was like, I'm assuming was a little statue of her.
Yeah. Okay.
That's what I would assume.
Yeah.
And then the other one.
God, you're a terrible Catholic.
Yes, absolutely. Because I am not one any longer. I was a bad one back then too.
Well, that's kind of what Catholics are all about, is being bad at being Catholic.
Real.
That's like 90% of being
Who's
Catholic.
good at being Catholic?
Yeah, I was gonna say like 90% of being Catholic is like kind of being bad at being Catholic.
Like a priest. Is a priest even good at it? Who knows?
And statistically speaking,
Who knows? And then the other relic was a crucifix, a cross.
okay.
So they put the stuff under his pillow, and both of the men go back downstairs after placing them there, and they hear a loud crash. They run back upstairs. And do I even need to say it? The relics didn't work, baby.
Shocking.
The cross was thrown from under the pillow to the end of the bed, and the Saint Margaret Mary little statue disappeared completely.
Oh, that's not a good sign.
No, maybe he ate it. I don't know.
Margaret, do we know what she's the saint of?
I'm a bad Catholic. Don't ask me.
Okay, continue. I'm going to do a quick Google while you continue.
Also, the heavy bookshelf that was in Roland's room had fallen, and a bench was turned upside down, which was the loud crashing sounds.
Got it. Okay. She's the patron saint for devotees of the Sacred Heart, of polio patients, and against the death of parents.
Interesting. Why her?
I don't know, but bada bing, bada boom, baby.
You know what? They needed maybe they just had it in their house and they were like,
they're like, she seems fine.
She seems like a good one
Yeah,
to bring.
she seems like a neutral one to bring.
Yeah.
They won't piss anybody off too bad. Yeah.
So after this experience, both Father Bodern and Father Bishop are like, okay, maybe we need to now turn to our church and ask for permission to drive out these demons because this shit is crazy.
Yeah. It's getting weird up in here.
Yes. So those two dudes come back after they get permission, and they bring along two more priests named Walter Holleran and Reverend William Van Tu. And they decide that they're going to conduct the exorcism in a room in the psychiatric ward of the hospital because this room was soundproof. It locked only from like the outside, like there was no way to get it out from the inside, and it had no windows, like pretty secure.
Yeah. No tomfoolery happening.
Exactly. And they begin this exorcism on March 16th, 1949. As the men begin reciting the rosary, the mattress underneath Roland began to move, and the scratching on the boy's body started to flare up. Roland would enter a trance-like state and start making sounds in a guttural voice that was not like his own. And this continued on for over a month.
Oh, my God.
So basically, they would perform the exorcisms at night, and then Roland was like a seemingly normal-ish person during the day.
Yeah.
They just said he was a little bit more fatigued, like he was very tired during the day, but he was like basically a normal human.
Yeah.
But obviously during the exorcisms, he was completely not himself. On several occasions, Roland would urinate all over the bed and shout obscene things at the priests. He even physically fought the priests, and at one point he broke Father Holleran's nose.
Oh my God.
And
okay.
Apparently he was doing all this with his eyes completely shut.
Interesting. Okay.
One of the nights, Roland looked up to the priests and with a smile said, "You will all stay with me till the end. You like to stay with me, and I like it too."
Ew. No. Canceled. Orphanage. Amanda's lifting her little art eyebrows over here. Yeah.
One night, Roland started performing like this automatic writing session on the headboard of the bed. And he started writing things like, if you become a Catholic, this will all go away. And God is getting so powerful. And then he wrote that all of the priests in the room will die. And he is the devil and Roland will suffer.
That's not good.
So the priests were like, I'm sorry, what? No, thank you. We're not going to do that. And they're thinking the only way to help Roland is to probably convert him to Catholicism, because literally that's what he said on the headboard.
Yeah, because he was what, Protestant or whatever before?
I think, is Lutheran a thing?
Lutheran.
Yeah, they were
Lutheran.
Lutheran. So they asked the parents, and the parents were like, literally do whatever you want. We don't care. Baptize him. Fucking figure it out. Okay?
This is too much.
We can't do this anymore. So on April 1st, Roland was in the car going to be baptized. And as they got closer to the church, the radio in the car started malfunctioning. He then looked over at whoever was driving, I think it was his aunt, and he said,
So, you're going to baptize me? Ha ha! You think you will drive me out with Holy Communion? Ha!
Roland then grabbed the steering wheel and tried to swerve the car into oncoming traffic.
As he should.
And his uncle and his dad were like grabbing him away and pulled him into the back seat. And luckily they were able to get back on the road and not get hit. And as they continued on, Roland, on multiple occasions, tried to reach up into the front seat and choke out his aunt.
Who was driving. Okay, yeah.
When they finally get to the church, they pull him out of the car as he's writhing and screaming out in pain and agony. And he's trying to contort his body to like slither away from everybody. And he continued to scream and curse as they brought him into the church and as they continued on to the baptism. And somehow they were able to actually do the baptism properly.
Okay.
Even though the whole time he was thrashing around.
Yeah, I guess, I mean, I don't know if that's like a Catholic thing, but like in the religion I grew up in, you can't baptize someone against their will.
I mean, it seems like you shouldn't be able to.
But like, I guess Catholics baptize babies, right?
Yeah, I was baptized as a baby.
Yeah.
And
so
I
like,
can't speak as a baby.
yeah, you can't like be like, yeah.
So that's
hell
against
yeah.
people's will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm wondering, because I'm like,
No, that makes sense.
in the religion I was baptized in, I couldn't get baptized until I was a teenager because I had to choose it.
That would make more sense
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah.
But who am I to say?
Who are we to say?
Who are we to say?
We're just two horror icons trying our hardest.
That's so real. So the next day, it took them multiple hours to get Roland to take his first communion, like the little wafer guy that actually I enjoyed taking as a Catholic.
I saw someone make nachos out of those once.
Honestly, I would do that.
Why not?
Delicious. So the whole time that they're trying to get him to do this, he's spitting on them, he's cursing them out. And this continued on for the next few days. On April 4th, the family decides that they're going to go back to their home in Maryland because they're like, this really doesn't seem like it's working out. So they move back home. Everything continues to keep happening. And on April 10th, so just a couple days later, they go back to St. Louis and go back to the hospital because there's really nowhere in Maryland that is willing to help him.
Yeah.
So they're like, well, we got to go back and try this
Gotta
again.
do something. Yeah.
So they continue the exorcisms every single night. The devil would often speak through Roland and make up lies about when he was going to leave.
Ah, okay.
Surprise, surprise, the devil's a liar.
Imagine that.
You know, the devil is a liar. But finally, after weeks of 30 failed exorcisms, on April 18th at 10:45 p.m., which was the Monday after Easter Sunday, Roland sat up and a voice came out of him.
His own?
No,
Oh.
but not a bad one.
Okay.
The voice said, Satan, Satan, I am Saint Michael, and I command you, Satan, and the other evil spirits to leave the body in the name of Dominos. Now, now, now!
Did it work?
Roland's body then contorted in the most violent way possible and lasted for several minutes until his body was completely still and calm. And he slowly said, he's gone.
Okay.
Which is like such a like for all of this shit that was happening for months and months and months, it was like, boom.
Yeah.
Like, St. Michael, where have you been, Loca? this whole time.
We've been fucking reaching out.
We've
brother.
been waiting for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm thinking like maybe he wasn't allowed to come until he was baptized as a Catholic, but like, come on.
Also, like, God's not exactly been shown to be like the nicest, coolest guy.
That is allegedly true,
in my opinion.
in my opinion. So that was literally it. Roland, from here on out, lived a normal life. He was able to go back to school. I think he even ended up getting married and having kids eventually.
Good for you, Roland.
Of course, there are tons of speculation from people online and in life if Roland had done this all himself, if he was pranking everybody. But I'm sorry, I'm not one of those
teenage dirtbag baby.
I am not one of those people, because that is insane. And explain to me how all of these fucking witnesses saw all that shit happen. How could a 14-year-old boy do that? He couldn't. Sorry.
Art the Clown says no.
It just really riles me up because I just don't see how that's possible, but whatever. He was able to remain anonymous for almost his whole life, like I said earlier, especially when The Exorcist came out and they changed it from a boy to a girl. So that like really helped a lot. But people soon discovered that this quote unquote based on a true story that the movie had was indeed about a little boy instead. In every book and interview that was done about it, they did use the pseudonyms, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
And it wasn't until he died, or a little bit before he died in 2020,
So recent,
that his real name actually came out. But regardless, whether or not you believe this is a true story or not, something that I thought was really creepy that the New York Post reported in 2021, they did an interview with Roland's female companion, as they called her.
Okay.
And they said, shortly after Roland died last year, a Catholic priest appeared at his home to perform last rites. She recalled, adding that she did not call the priest. I have no idea how the father knew to come, she said, but he got him to heaven.
Hey, we'll take it.
Kind of creepy.
We'll take it.
How the fuck did the priest know that he was going to die?
No comment.
No comment.
No comment. Great story.
But yeah, that is the true story of The Exorcist. When I first was, I was like, I've done this story before. And then when I started reading it, I was like, I've never done this story before.
No, we've just referenced it.
Yeah,
a
we've
lot.
referenced it. Yeah. I think I told a story of a female girl and I said this might be the true story behind The Exorcist.
Is what we covered on Patreon, and I was like, no,
and I
it
think
was a
I was
boy.
wrong. Yeah.
Because we've had that discussion before.
Yes, we have.
Yes, and I think it was a very old episode.
It was episode like 45 or something.
It was a Patreon episode.
Oh,
it was like
yeah.
2020. It was like 2021.
Yeah, it was like
a
when
long
we
time
started.
ago. Yeah.
But yeah.
Thank you, though.
You're welcome.
Can't believe we've never covered that one.
I know. I figured it's Halloween.
Why not?
Why not? But yeah, I just don't. I mean, we've had this discussion about exorcisms before and whether or not it's real, it's a demon, or it's mental illness. And I just I just cannot grasp that someone could be doing this to themselves.
Listen, I'll even give you 90% are mental illness. It's still the 10%.
I mean, there was even times where words would appear like scratched into his body on his back. And there's no fucking way he could have done that. Yeah. So I'm like, I don't know. I just don't see. I want someone to explain to me how.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I get it.
But yeah.
Thank you. Great story.
Thank you for
Great
listening.
movie.
Great movie.
I just saw it for the first time like 3 years ago. Remember we
with
watched it
me.
together.
Yeah.
How about we round this out with a listener story?
Let's fucking go.
So this listener story is titled "They Fucking Glitched," a listener tale.
Uh-oh.
All right, guys, gals, and non-binary pals.
That's right.
Here's my wild tale of how my best friend Katie and I experienced a glitch in the Matrix. So it all began when Katie, I'm going to call her KT from now on out, we went to the mall to go shopping for a 70s themed party. Party was great, by the way. We were moseying around the mall, going to the stores where they sell all of the cheap shit because you girls are broke as fuck. So naturally, we went into Urban Planet.
No.
For those that don't know, that's like Forever 21 kind of. I don't know if Urban Planet is only for us Canadians.
I think so.
Yeah, I've never heard of it, but I get the vibe. Anywho, we walk around the store looking for some 70s stuff. Alas, we did not find anything, but I did find something cute that I wanted to buy, so we head over to the line to pay. And the line was so fucking long, but we waited in it anyway for some god-awful reason. So we're out here in the line waiting, as one does, and we are standing behind this young couple, and they're dressed very edgy, gothy kind of style. I personally love this style, and I think it's rad, so I tell Katie, hey, they have really cute outfits, and she agrees. We waited in this line, and I gotta say, it was at least 20 minutes. Oh, geez. Wow.
That's long.
Yeah, you're stronger than me.
Yeah, I can't do that.
I know. I don't know how we did it, but it's fine. It's like she knew what we were going to say. So we got to the point where we knew the faces of the people in front of us because, we've been standing behind them for so long. We get closer to the front of the line, maybe 3 people ahead of us, and they're checking out, and one of them put a hat that they were not going to buy, or that they were going to buy, on their head to hold it while they were waiting in this long-ass line. Valid. But they forgot about it and remembered after they paid for the stuff, and they had to do a second transaction to pay for it. This is random but relevant, I promise.
I was going to say, we're getting a lot of detail about these people.
We are. We're really deep.
Yeah.
Katie and I are starting to get frustrated as our precious social batteries begin to drain. Finally, the couple ahead of us is about to pay. Side note, there are like 3 cashiers working at 3 different registers. So the couple goes up and pays, and the cash next to them calls the next person in line. That's me and Katie. We went up to pay, and we only had 1 item. The couple had, I don't know, about 5. So we finish our transaction and go and leave the store and walk past the couple that are just finishing up. When, get this, one of them did the exact same thing with the hat on the head, forgetting it and having to do a second transaction to buy it. Katie and I leave the store before this couple. Like, we are leaving as they are paying their first transaction and getting all of their items bagged and go to do the second transaction. We walked out of the store. We were talking about how funny it was that 2 people did the same thing and forgot to pay for something. And we were walking away from Urban Planet towards the end of the mall, the bay, if you're looking at my drawing, when lo and fucking behold, we see that same exact couple walking towards us 30 seconds after we left the store before them.
From the other direction.
Yes. Now, there is no way they could have passed us without us seeing them. They were wearing very distinct outfits that people in my town do not usually wear, and we stood behind them for a good 20 fucking minutes. Like, I shit you not, it was the same exact fucking couple. We 100% left way before them, so how the actual hell did they get ahead of us and then be able to turn around and start walking towards us from the other side of the mall?
That's a glitch.
That is a glitch if I've ever heard one. Upon noticing this, Katie and I look at each other, eyes wide, mouths agape, knees weak, arms heavy, vomit on my sweater already, mom's spaghetti kind of vibe. Like, we both knew we saw the same thing. They must have fucking glitched. There's literally no other explanation for this. I simply cannot comprehend. There is no way that they could have gotten out of that store unless they were fucking teleported or some shit. We got home and explained what we had seen to my mom and my sister, and they both are just as confused as we are as to what the fuck happened. I am still just as flabbergasted and confused as the day that I was then. Anyway, I require your professional opinion.
Oh.
Did we experience a glitch in the Matrix, or are we just dumb? Thank you for reading my listener tale. I truly do appreciate you with my whole heart, and you put a smile on my face every day. Never stop being you. Have a slay day, besties.
Oh, slay.
She also sent pictures of her dogs because they're very cute.
Oh my God. So cute.
We have Molly and Daniel.
Daniel
And
Love
they're
that.
and Pixie. Oh, Pixie the cat.
Oh, Pixie the cat.
Sitting like a human.
Wow.
Wow. Excellent work. Zoe, thank you so much.
Zoe, that was a glitch for sure.
Oh, so she also drew a picture of what we're kind of looking. Here's Urban
thank
Planet.
you.
She said we can post this on Instagram if we need to.
Wow.
Here's Urban Planet. They're walking out of Urban Planet, and
Yeah.
the couple that glitch is walking the opposite direction towards them.
From another store, yeah.
Where there's no way they could have
There's
been.
no way.
Girl, I've been in those situations and I really don't know how to explain it either. I say glitch in the matrix. I say NPC accidental restart. I don't know.
Bro, that is like to this day one of my favorite fucking things ever that I learned on the podcast is glitches in the matrix.
Because there's just no way to
it is just
explain that.
so crazy.
Well, so like imagine like we're dressed, we look like idiots right now.
Speak for yourself.
Respectfully. Like I'm like wearing,
Right. Like if we were walking in a mall,
yeah,
people
like,
would know us.
And like that's what I mean. Like when people
Yeah.
are like, oh, like you're recognizable. How did you get on the other side of the mall
Right.
before me?
Right.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, honestly, like you saw a glitch in the matrix for your fucking self and sent me a video of it and it was crazy.
I did, and I shared that video. I don't believe in posting videos of strangers online.
Yeah, so I've never
I'm sorry.
posted it online, but it's really good.
I can't post it online, but I have showed it to like multiple people, and they're like, yeah,
It's crazy.
I like try to explain it to them, and I'm like, yeah, like you don't understand. This guy was like frozen, and they're like, sure. And then I show it to them, and they're like, oh shit, no, that's like actually
was
really weird.
Literally frozen in place.
mid step,
Yeah, with like
with a Starbucks in his
hand, not
Yeah.
moving. It was the craziest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah. Well, if you have a story you would like to share with us, you can do that at dtkpod.com/contact. You can also find our YouTube, our Patreon, and our social media on dtkpod.com. And most importantly,
Yes.
make sure you keep that front door locked.
Make sure you keep your mind open
And keep drinking the Kool-Aid.